How are you guys? I have a fun live for all of you. It's a live story of hope um, with someone you guys probably all follow and know her story. But it's really fun to be able to bring her live and share with all of you all the things that she did differently for her 10th round of IVF and um, yeah, how it's brought a baby in the belly. I'm going to bring the lovely Alex on now. Let's do it. Let's do it. People are excited. I see it. Let's see. Hi.
Hey, how are you, Aimee?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, doing well. Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Are you kidding me? I mean, I couldn't wait. I was like busting at the seams. Let's see. Just stand up and show us. Show us that belly. I love the picture the
All
other
right.
day. It was like, come
Let me
on.
see, let me see where I can
Trigger
put.
warning for all you guys, but I think this is a girl that you shouldn't get triggered by because, man, have you been through the ringer.
Here, let me do this, and then I'm just gonna sort of set you
I
up.
can prep you for
Oh,
a belly shot, but let's just see it.
we're gonna just situate you somewhere in my house. So yeah, that's what we're looking right.
Oh, that's amazing, my love.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's the best. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of your followers are probably watching right now, and I feel like we have a lot of the same followers, but I still think it's always beautiful to, like, I don't know, share. How many weeks pregnant are you right now, lovely?
17 as of yesterday.
And how long have you been in this? How many years?
Four and a half years.
And you're a baby at what are you, 32 or 33 now, right? Did you just have a birthday or no?
Yes, in June, so ish. So I'm
Yes.
33 right now, so I'll be 30. I'll still be 33 when the little one's here.
All right. So, I mean, I think I always like, I mean, I know you've told your story 100,000 times, but like maybe
Yeah.
share some high level stuff with everyone of like
Yep.
all the things you've done and gone through, and then we'll share kind of, I feel like, all the moving parts that brought you here.
Yeah, it sounds great. So I'll do like the Spark Note version because
Yeah.
I wrote it out not too long ago, and it was like 5,000 words, and I'm like, oh my God, this is obscene. Uh, so we started trying. We wanted to wait until I'm a high school band director, so we wanted to wait until after I had my master's finished. And so we started to try as soon as that was done, and we did. And we started a couple months before that just to start like, okay, let's get in the swing of things. And so we got pregnant the 4th month of trying, and we were just like so happy, and like all of our friends were pregnant, and like I was gonna be like the fourth one of like my closest girlfriends to get to have a baby every other month, and it was great. So sadly we lost it at 6 weeks, and we have no idea why.
Yeah.
And we went and we waited for a little bit longer. We kept trying without help, and our doctor, my OB, said everything looked like, all my numbers looked great, which they did. So she's like, I don't like try to
No, why? Yeah.
right. Yeah. So we kept trying and nothing happened. So then we went and we saw an RE, and she was just the sweetest, absolute sweetest thing. And we decided to just jump right into IVF. Being in Illinois, I'm very grateful to have really good coverage for infertility. I mean, like I couldn't have done 10 rounds out
No,
of.
correct.
I mean, that's
There's
just not possible.
Yeah.
Not
For
financially
anyone, right? Yeah.
right. Yeah. So we were really
Let
excited to
alone the
hear that.
emotional toll,
Oh my
let
God.
alone the
Yeah.
emotional toll. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously. So we went into this thinking that we would be one and done, and all of our numbers looked great. And then like right after the retrieval, like the morning of, my RE called and said that none of my eggs were mature, and I was completely blindsided. So it took us a few rounds. It was after our 5th round of IVF, and we just had failure after failure. Our 2nd and 3rd rounds gave us normal embryos, just one apiece. But after our 5th round, we learned that I have a really bad egg quality issue, as smooth endoplasmic reticulum clusters, and it's like SRC.
Yeah. Basically, like explain what it is, I guess.
Yeah, so the way mine shows up is there's a bunch of like vacuoles or bubbles in the eggs, and that makes it really difficult for them to keep growing and to keep like to have enough energy to grow into an embryo. And it on a cellular level, it has something to do with calcium. And I
Yeah,
try to
it's like
understand.
blockages. It's just like
Yeah,
I remember when we first talked, I like in my head, I was like, I'm just gonna kind of treat it like, what did I say? I can't remember what I said, but like these little plaques or something like
yes,
that. Like in my head of like, there's just these like little bundles of plaques that are getting like stuck in the eggs and just right improve like break things down, improve absorption. That was kind of like the mental in my head. But just even when I did the research, I remember like when when you and I were about to meet and like researching it, I was like, it's kind of like polycystic but not,
right.
because there's these little like plaques inside
Yep.
the eggs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, we really struggled to make blasts, let alone get our normal embryos. So we finally figured that out. And there had been a stop on like research. There was a huge gap in research because the ASRM said, "Hey, any of these eggs, discard them. They're not worth it. It's not worth they're just so bad." So there's a huge gap in research, which is really frustrating for someone like me who's like, "Well, I
Yeah.
could benefit
Yeah.
from that," but it is what it is. So
And
we
you did some transfers and they didn't take, right? So it was
right.
like that only pregnancy you had was in that August 2018 and that was it.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Both of our transfers failed and we were absolutely devastated. So, we kept trying more and more rounds and we decided we needed to switch clinics and we were just like, we were tired and, I was processing donor egg with my therapist and we were feeling really good about it by the time like the summer started and we were like, okay, we're ready.
Yeah.
So February of this year, we had another failed round after failed round.
Yeah.
I decided, I'm like, okay, like John my husband had been done for a really long time. And I was like, okay, this is our last round. And I knew I wanted to go just all in. So
Yeah.
and I'm so grateful to have had an opportunity to chat with you because you helped a lot with the PRP and like all the stuff that we did for the 10th round. And I know we can get into the details for that here
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
minute. But
Yeah.
luckily we had 14 eggs mature, 14 fertilized, so something was working. We only got
Totally
one.
different results, like dramatically different results. And you basically did a very similar protocol to the protocol previous because that was your best round, right? It was like
Yeah,
you had 5 fertilized, but everything stopped at day 3, right? Correct?
exactly, exactly.
So this time you had 14 you got 14 retrieved, 14 fertilized. Is that what you said? Yeah.
Yep. And we had one who looked good on day 3 and the rest of them just didn't look good, and we're like, all right, well, this is our shot. And we did a fresh day 3 transfer because I was like, I
Yeah,
don't
that was what we insisted of, like, we're not freezing, we're just putting them right back in. Yeah.
Yep. I don't want to risk pushing it, not feeling comfortable with that because that just doesn't work for us. So let's just put it back in and hope for the best and do in April. It's insane.
So I mean, it's so amazing. And it's like, so this was your second or third clinic, your second clinic, right?
Second clinic. We had done a lot of second opinions with other
Right.
doctors, just to get their perspective because they're just like, do you know anything about SCRC? Do you
Yeah.
have you seen patients like this? Because my first RE hadn't had a ton of patients. Like I was really the first one with her clinic. And most people hadn't, but they were adjacently aware to it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
of it rather. So we interviewed this one RE and she said that she had plenty of experience with it. So we decided to go there and the rest is history.
And so tell everyone too, because it was like that cycle, the one that got you the 14 was still on like kind of a lower meds, almost mini stim cycle, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I have everything. I actually have my numbers pulled up.
Tell us because girls love the data, right? They love to know
100%,
what you were on.
100%.
You know this.
So
this is your other job. You know this.
Yeah, I know, right? Thank God for Instagram because that's how I like document everything. It's actually like it serves as a journal, so I'm able to like go back and say like, okay, on exactly this day we retrieved this many. That's awesome. So anyway, for the retrieval for the meds, we had done omnitrope and we tried like HGH or whatever, and we tried it. It didn't work for us, and we're like, we don't want to spend the thousands of dollars out of pocket for that. We just decided to cut it. So that was originally part of the plan, and we nixed it. I just had a hysteroscopy, so everything was like squeaky clean.
I remember that. Yeah.
But we did 75 gonal and 150 menopur. We did stims for, it ended up being 11 days, and we did an HCG trigger.
Yeah. And you did menopur the whole time, or did you start that later in the cycle? The whole time?
I did it the whole time.
And then, and out of that, they got 14. I mean, shit, you know, your AMH is high, but, and so let's talk about, you know, what you know, you did differently. And I guess too, like, I think the big things were the PRP. You did what, 3 rounds of PRP?
Yep.
Right?
And because I know we had talked about doing 2 rounds, maybe 3, but at my first round of PRP, the RE saw some adeno. And
that's right. This is what I remember. And then you went on the Lupron. That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, put me on the Lupron depot. So that ended up pushing everything back by a month. And
you just did Lupron for 4 weeks for the adeno.
I did it for 3 months.
You did it for 3 months. Yeah. I can't remember.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we ended up doing a 3rd round of PRP.
Right. Because now we were delaying transfer. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to make sure that that we did PRP the month before our retrieval. So that
everyone, PRP is platelet-rich plasma, and you draw blood from your arm, and they centrifuge it to get your platelets, which basically have your growth factors and lots of juicy good stuff. And then it's a newer procedure, and then they put it in a syringe, and they go in and they inject the platelet-rich plasma into your ovaries. And the idea is to improve ovarian function, but like in Alex's case, even the idea of like improving egg quality, right? That was really kind of like what we were after. And so you did it with your guy in Reno, right? What's his name again? With an F, Falk.
Dr. Foulk, Dr. Falk.
Falk.
Yeah.
And then you came to New York and saw Dr. Murphy, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So awesome. Just so awesome.
And then during that time when you were doing the Lupron, you did the egg quality diet, basically, right? We put you on the diet. Yes. And you really did it. You were like, you were in it. I remember your food diaries and your things. And then we did Chinese herbs too, right? Didn't I put you on herbs? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And the secret sauce was absolutely mixing it with the
raw cacao.
The chocolate bone broth protein powder.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
How I survived, because it was like
secret sauce.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's good though. And then you're getting protein, because I remember it was like you could do collagen and raw cacao, but you did the chocolate protein powder. And so like the tweaks that like you and I made, if you will, was like, let's see, I made you check your vitamin E and D for soy. I remember that. You were on a prenatal with folic acid. I switched you to one with methylfolate.
Yep.
You were on melatonin. We kept that. We added in fish oil. We added in wobenzyme, which is like one of my favorite. I really thought about that for you, of like breaking up those plaques. And I kind of remember explaining that to you, where it was like, it's going to break up the inflammation. And then the NMN, which is like, you know, the NAD or the NMN for the quality. We were going after that. Put you on liver pills. Trace minerals, right? We did that for the thyroid. Did we do that or thyrosin? I have both.
We did thyrosin.
Okay. And then castor oil packs regularly for those, because you couldn't try. You were on the Lupron.
Right.
We did the herbs, and then like diet tweaks too, because you were already eating healthy, but I like, these are my original notes of like, make your coffee organic, add the collagen peptides. And then because of your job, like any of my teachers, any of my people in education, you guys, I feel so bad. You have like the worst schedule of like, you can't eat, you know, like basically that's your job. You cannot eat. I'm sorry. And you can't have any nuts at school. It's like, so we snuck in smoothies, broths, and like powdered, right? The powdered Dr. Cowan's I have written here. I don't know if you actually did that, but like adding in the powdered vegetables, right?
Yeah.
And you weren't, when we met, you said not hungry enough for breakfast. You weren't eating breakfast. And then, let's see. And you were doing the healthy autoimmune paleo dinner. That was like your big thing. And then you had an insane sweet tooth. I remember that.
Yeah.
Um,
So just
and
like
go
a
ahead.
little bit of like organic dark chocolate.
Did the trick, right?
Great. Yep. That's all I needed.
And then let's see. Yeah, so then we went back and forth. I put you on 3,000 milligrams of fish oil, 3 tablets twice a day of the Wobenzyme.
Yes.
Switch the prenatal, like I
Yep.
already said. We did the Thorn Reserva-Cell for the NMN.
Yes.
And then you had sent me labs. Let's see what else I have here that we switched, because your D was a 49, which I was happy with. I thought that was okay. I think we just kept on a maintenance dose. Your TSH was a 2.8. So I remember saying before transfer, oh, you froze. Yeah. And did we adjust Synthroid at all for transfer or no?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
because we ended up bumping it up, because I'm looking at my my retrieval list right now, and it originally said 75, but I've bumped it up to 112 Monday through Friday, and then 150 Saturday and Sunday. We just kept testing it, and I know it eventually got higher for transfer. So yeah, so we've definitely increased that.
Okay. And then I remember us talking May 4th. Adenomyosis diagnosis is so frustrating for her. Yeah. And she's like, he saw a concave shape in my lining. Has it always been here? Like, how did they miss this? Because we were thinking about those normals that you transferred. Right. So it was almost like there was 2 issues, right? It was like the egg quality issue, but then there was this underlying uterine issue that I don't think was really investigated as deeply as it could have been. However, I think, and that's another part of like, and I know you've shared the story, and like, but for everybody to really hear of like, I think it was really twofold of like going after egg quality, doing the hysteroscopy, which you had done.
Yeah.
But then getting someone looking in your uterus who was like, this is adenomyosis. Like, even if we make good quality embryos, I don't know if they're going to stick, right? And so I think that's good for everyone listening with like implantation failure challenges to really think about, have you dug deep enough? Have you done a hysteroscopy? Has someone actually, and now a lot of docs are actually just like, they're seeing implantation failure, like maybe 2 or 3 transfers. They're going for the Lupron for like either 6 weeks to 2 to 3 months, right? It kind of just depends on the doc. Yeah. But I think that's like a big takeaway, right? And then you were also doing the Soluma red light. That's another thing to add in. And you were doing the acupressure mat.
Yep.
You were exercising. That was a big one.
Yep.
And I would also say, like, I was thinking about this, but like, and obviously this is your story, so you chime in, but like, I felt like I remember just you kind of being like, this is our 10th and final shot at this, and then we're moving to donor. And you had like, you'd been working with a therapist, and I think you had resolve in that. Like, there was almost that piece of surrender where it was like, I'm okay. Like, I've done everything I could possibly do. And and like, this is our Hail Mary round, and we'll see how it goes, right? But so I don't know, speak to that piece emotionally, like, because having been through 10 rounds, I think you know the difference of like how you felt round 3 or 4 versus 9 and 10.
Yeah. I'm a really tenacious person. Like, I have a really hard time. Like, I don't want to say like I have a hard time giving up, but like when I go in, I go all in. So it took a while for me. Like, John got there pretty quickly. He's like, this isn't working. Like, let's not keep repeating the same thing. Yeah. But it took a while for me to process the potential loss of my genetics. And it's different for everyone. And I respect that. Some people, feel more comfortable with that. Some people don't ever feel comfortable with that. And that's fine. And everyone has their own path to walk on that front.
There's a million ways. Well, there's a lot of ways, maybe not a million, but there's a lot of ways to bring through a baby.
Exactly. Yeah. So he was ready to, he's just like, I just want to be a parent. I'm like, yeah, and I do too. And I want to feel at peace with whatever steps, we choose to pursue. And I never looked at like, donor or adoption as like plan B. Mm-mm. Because it's like plan A is to have a baby. Plan A is to be mom and dad.
I like that.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So we finally got to that point, and it's like, you know what? And John's got a very soothing voice. So he, we got the book, 3 Makes a Baby, and he would read it to me like every night, and I'd fall asleep. So I don't remember how much I remember of that book, but there were so many like beautiful stories about
Yeah.
like what families look like and what a family actually is. So it helped me realize that, hey, you know what, it doesn't matter what comes of this round. We're going to be parents one day.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And this round happened to work, and it's just unreal.
And do you think, like, in your heart of, like, I don't know, how big of a role, I suppose, that surrender piece played, if you will, of like the success of this? I mean, you worked your tail off. I'm not going to lie about that. Like, you
Yeah.
worked your tail off, even the diet. And I remember us checking in, and you were like, "No, I'm like in a rhythm. I got it. Like, I'm doing all the things.
Yeah.
This is like," so I mean, not give you credit for how much
No,
you got, and
I'm
your
sorry.
husband too. Like, you
Yeah.
worked your tail off. You did.
Yeah.
And I know the diet isn't easy. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I know that. Um, very
That
clear
liver
on that. I hear
support
it every
soup,
day
that was
from like a
something
dozen
special.
people, but hear it all the time, and I'm aware of that. But I don't know, like, emotionally, obviously, it's funny. Like, I guess too, after, like, I knew you had transferred, right? Did I know you had transferred? I knew you
Yes.
transferred because you were
Yeah.
updating everybody, like, beta days coming up. And then she goes radio silent. Like, even from me, guys, by the way, like, she's like radio silent. And I'm like, and I wasn't pushing you, right? Like, I think I sent you like one message that was like,
Which
just
was very
thinking
sweet,
about
and I
you.
really appreciate that. It was
I
really
was like,
nice.
just thinking about you. You don't even have to reply. Like,
Yeah.
I just, but in my heart, like, I might cry. I like had this feeling. I was like, she's fucking pregnant. I know she is. Cause I felt like you would have been open about not being, like, I was like stalking your page. I'm like, no, in the past, she always like shared when it wasn't successful. And it was like, everybody who follows you probably all had the same feelings. But then you sent me that message, on the back end of Instagram, right? It was like on the DMs, and it was like, oh my God. And what were you? You had just had your 8-week appointment, I think it was.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And so, like, I don't know, in all of that, were you just like, I guess what I want to like try to boil down is like, were you so like surrendered to like, okay, this baby's coming through one way or another, and I'm okay with any of the ways, that like, when you got the positive, right? I mean, what was that first feeling like? I mean, I know you've been sharing stuff now on Instagram kind of like retrospectively, but like, I don't know, can you
Yeah. I mean,
boil it down?
you hit the nail on the head. Like, we knew that we were going to be parents, like, come hell or high water. And
Yeah.
it didn't matter how it
How?
happened.
Yeah.
And I was expecting this not to work. I mean,
Mhm.
we'd had so much bad news with our genetics, with my,
Yeah.
with my, just like awful egg quality, that I was, the day before beta, we had contacted the donor bank, like, because we had chosen a donor, and we were like, this is the one we want. Will she work for us? Blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, yep, let me just, talk to your RE, and we can get the ball rolling. And we were like we
You
were
were in it.
there.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So naturally, when I took the test at home, like, I was
Well,
shocked.
that's a great video. Like, you
Yeah.
have, it's so good. I was like bawling watching that. Oh my God. No, it's so brave. I mean, I like, I've said this to you before behind closed doors, that I'm going to be emotional about it, but it's so brave, you sharing your story the way you do, and how vulnerable you've been.
Thank you.
And I know how helpful it is to so many, but it's really brave to put your heart out there like that,
Mhm.
and you've helped so many. And then it's also just like kind of amazing to see, I don't know, the tenacity, I think, is the perfect word. Like,
Yeah.
fucking tenacious as hell, of like, okay, like, round 10, here we go. And you were just kind of like, yeah, like, it was almost just like, sure, Aimee, I'll do whatever. Like, just tell me what to do
Just
and
tell
I
me
will
what
do
to
it.
do.
Just tell
Yes.
me what to do. And so it was just like, okay. And then it was like, Dr. Murphy, she's going to come to New York and do PRP. And he's like, all right, let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah,
That,
it was
like,
awesome.
we're
It
just
was
doing
awesome.
this. We're just doing this.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just like, I don't know, I guess, like, I'm sure you put this into words already for your community, but I don't know, what are the words? Like, what, I don't know, what do you feel like was the final change for all of this? Or was it just staying the course? Like, is it that tenacity?
I think it's a combination. I don't want to say that it's I mean, I don't know. I think, yeah, it's a combination.
Well, everybody has their own, like, everybody knows their own limits too. And I think that's a
exactly.
big thing to point out. Like,
Yes.
not every woman has 10 rounds in her, and not every woman has 10 rounds covered by insurance. So, like,
No.
I mean, I think that's like a huge piece of this. So,
Right.
not to like make anyone feel guilty for not doing 10 rounds,
No.
and Alex did and got her baby. You know, it's not
Right.
like that, but more that piece of like, I don't know. I think there's also that thing like a when you know, and you were just like, I got this last round in me. And then this is it. I'm done. And so, like, I'll give it all I got. Like, that was kind of
yeah. And there was so much peace in knowing that we were doing kitchen sink for the last round. I mean, there was just, it was like, okay, we've literally done everything. There's nothing else that we could do to make this happen. And it's going to be what it's going to be. And John really did a great job of helping me process that, along with my wonderful therapist. And we were ready for whatever results. And we were just always so excited for the future to be parents. And we're immensely preparing for a longer story with donor egg. And it's just so much of it is just shock. And we got lucky. We got, it was hard work, good
I don't
time.
know, like, luck is preparedness and opportunity meeting. So
Right.
I actually think
that's
you prepared the shit out of yourself. Like, I
Yeah.
think you were very prepared, on many levels. Like, but I think you checked all the boxes. Like, you were prepared emotionally for whatever the outcome was, and for like next steps, and you prepared your body as you could have best physically. And then it was just like, okay, let's see how this goes, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And just having that mindset of, okay, this is it, and I'm controlling absolutely everything I can, and I cannot control my egg quality. I can't go back and fix it. All I can do is fix it now with what we know now in post.
Well, and that's it too. Like, even for like your diagnosis, like the search, like for me, I remember like researching it before we got on our call, and I like literally remember being like, I'd never seen a case with that. And I was like, okay. And it's so funny. I had this conversation earlier today with like a physician friend of mine where I was like, I don't know. I think I do my best work when I'm like in my detective Chinese medicine hat. And like, that's what I did with your case, where I was like, I'm fully Chinese medicining this, and I'm not even going to think about a diagnosis. I'm just going to like, she's got gunk in her system, and we're going to clean it out. Like, it was like, she's got these plaques, and let's try to figure that out. Like, what can we do for these plaques? What can we do to break up? So almost like for me, it was thinking about like cysts or fibroids, but the adeno kind of fit too. And I think that's like a really big part of the case that, like, fast forward, had you moved to donor and no one had treated that adeno,
right?
I wonder, I wouldn't want you to have miscarried or have failed implantation. I think you would have looked deeper if the first or second transfer with the donor didn't work. But it's like, to think about that though too, and I see that a lot. I just had someone miscarry a donor because not enough work was done on the front end of that work, of that transfer. It's devastating. That's absolutely devastating, right? But the investment, the time, I mean, because it wasn't like she had plenty of a journey before she got to donor too, and then now to find like, oh, we missed this thing. And so was it my egg quality? But now she's almost too old to go back in her own mind, and life is different now. They're committed to the donor. But you see that too with like, you're pushed along of like, oh, it's just egg quality, and no one really did deeper introspection into the uterine environment too, which is really important, to not support that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then did anything get to freeze, or no? It was just this one lucky duck. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Just the one. And with the 14 that had fertilized, the nurses called me. They're like, oh, you're gonna have a ton to be able to freeze. Like, you're no problem, because we were planning to transfer too.
Yeah, I remember you were going to transfer everything. Weren't you going to transfer everything? I remember at one point you said to me, we're transferring everything we have. Like, if we have how many day threes? Yeah.
Yeah, our goal was the two best ones, and then freeze everything else. And it was, so, because with day threes, it's just, you don't know. So we're not testing. We don't, right? Might as well try it. And we found out the morning of transfer that only one made it to be able to be transferred, and we're like, all right. But we got there, and we got to the clinic, and they're like, this is like the top grade that we could possibly give an embryo. It's already looks like a day 4. Like if this thing is growing. Oh yeah. And so I have had people say, like, do you wish you would have transferred on day 3 in the past? And I mean, hindsight is 2020, absolutely. But I've never had, according to what the doctors have said, I've never had something that was this high quality, because it's just like like the pictures were beautiful and the doctors were thrilled. So it's like, okay, hey, let's get this little fighter going.
I know.
Oh my
It
God.
needs a strong name, no pressure, but like, this is like a spirit that's going to change the world.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This
Right, a fighter from the get-go of just like, and you too, you know, I think that's like the beautiful part of it, of like, in your heart. And I also think, like, had you gone donor or anything like that, I still truly always believe that it's the spirit of the same child that comes through, however you choose it, you know? So it's just like, I don't know, the fight to get here is, you know, it's courageous and so admirable. And it's like, for you and John and the baby, you know, just like you two, you know, your destiny, you know, you're supposed to be together.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that. All right. Well, I want to let you go and rest, because you deserve that. But I don't know, any words of wisdom, I suppose, now that you're 17 weeks pregnant with a healthy child?
Yeah, I guess, well, first of all, Aimee, I'm so indebted to you. I'm so grateful for all of your support and the connections that you helped us with, and all of your guidance, and just like all of the love. Like, we are, like, you made this happen, and we're so thankful for you. So thank you.
You were just ready for that support to be called in. You know what I mean? I always think that we show up for each other when we need each other, you know? So
yeah. Oh, 100%. And I think the thing that I learned through all of this, it's like, you know, you will get through 100% of your worst days, and because the clock keeps ticking, but also, I mean, you just sort of do, you find a way to survive this, and not every day is going to be a good day, and some days are really, really awful, but you get through it. And you know, even if it doesn't always work out the way that you hope, like you can survive this. And like, no, like reminding myself of that has really helped get through some really dark times.
For
sure.
Well, thank you. And I can't wait to see, just keep, you know, posting all the belly pics and sharing all the inspiration. I love it.
Thank you, Aimee.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Awesome.
And yeah, we'll talk soon. Obviously, you know, I'm here. Keep me posted on everything. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.